Happy Halloween! I realized right before I went to hit the intro button that I'm like, I never updated a new intro for this week, which I was trying to do every week, and I failed. So that's on me. But hello, and welcome to Occasional Levity on Unsafe Space. I'm Beverly, and today is Friday, October 28th, 2022, and here with me tonight are my co-hosts, Alex and Biden and Juliet.
It is such a good costume.
I was crying laughing last night, like when I was trying to print his head out big.
Yeah, how do you have it on you right now? I'm gonna talk with my
It's like
dino hands too.
cardboard. I put it on cardboard and then I just shoved it down the back of my shirt.
That's a great place
where his hands would
Yeah,
go.
right.
Yeah,
where he needs to be.
pretty
Fine, sure.
authentic. Yeah.
Like I asked before we, went on air though too. It's like, are you sure Biden doesn't think you're too old for him? Like,
Right.
Mhm.
Probably.
Think about this. It also has like footy things too, which I was excited about. Like it's hard. I don't know if I can see. Yeah, there we go.
Oh my gosh, those are so cute.
I've been wanting a dinosaur costume like all my life, and then finally, for my 30th birthday, my boyfriend got me this as a gift. Because weirdly enough, they don't make like good adult-sized dinosaur costumes ever. Like they have like the full like the T-Rex things, but not like. So I wanted something like it's not going to cover my entire head and everything. So then I just had a onesie, and then last night I was wearing my Pikachu onesie. So getting them all out.
Oh.
How are you guys doing?
Good. I have a video to send you for the intro. I had a groundhog stuck in my yard yesterday, and it was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. He couldn't get out, but I opened all 3 gates.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
and he just kept getting stuck. Like he wouldn't go near the opening.
Every night, so we've got like a pen, like a little fence around where the mudroom is, because that's where the geese live right now. And then the one goose, Hope, I think she's just retarded, I think is the biggest thing. Because like the other 3 will come and there's like the little gateway, there's a little opening, and they all come through. She'll walk with them around the fence to that opening, and then she turns around and goes back to the other side of the fence. And it's close to the door, it's just no opening there. So multiple, usually I have to climb over that fence and then catch her because she like scrambles and always tries to run and run into the fence. So I'll catch her and just take her back over. But recently, I've been now trying to just get her, like I'll walk and she like runs, then to kind of guide her back over to the gate, the actual opening. But then even when she was like standing right there, I was like trying to take a step and she just stops and waits. And then when I step, she like runs away. I'm like, no, go forward. She'll go to the side. And I recorded it last night just to watch how stupid it my boyfriend, like how stupid it is that she'll run back around to the fence and I have to put her back through. I'll have to chase her around other times, like I'll pick her up and then just set her right in the doorway to walk through the rest of the fence to the mudroom. Like it is the most obnoxious thing that I have to do for one animal.
She just doesn't understand how any of this works.
Yeah.
That stupid groundhog. So I was out there for 20 minutes. I started trying to like hit the fence to like scare it towards the gate. And then this idiot just climbs over the chain link fence and like launches into my neighbor's yard, which is also fenced. I was like,
oh my god.
Are they considered rodents? I don't remember where.
They have to. It looks like a really fat squirrel.
They have to be rodents. They look like a fat squirrel. I can't remember where those lines are, but I was gonna say like rodents are like we got the rabbits everywhere too. And I was trying to park the truck back in, and they were underneath the truck sleeping because they hang out there, and I pull out, and that always happens. Like, okay, they're there. And when I came back, they were still there, and I wanted to park in that spot. So I was like trying to pull up, and like I honked the horn trying to scare, and they would not move. I had to park the truck behind them because I'm like, I don't want to run you over, and you won't leave.
Dumb animals.
Yeah. So that's our lives here. Well, what do we have? don't think I actually have an article up for this, but we should talk about the thumbnail and the title name about Elon Musk taking over Twitter. And then he changed his Twitter profile to saying Chief Twit now. So that's why I like that. I couldn't get
already let people go too.
I heard, yeah. Do you guys have more information? I can pull up what's the sync thing. I saw a sync clip. I don't remember who sent me that before. But I can find it. But yeah, any detail. Oh my gosh, I don't know what's going on. Any details then too, as far as like, so he's already fired like heads of stuff.
Yeah, what I understand is he fired the CEO, the CFO, the head of some board or department that was about, censorship essentially, because and I think that might have been the person that censored the Hunter Biden laptop story on Twitter.
Oh.
So that's already like he's already making moves and everything, and like there's like people being interviewed as they take their boxes out of the building and leave.
What are they saying?
Like their boxes stuff from their desk, and just they're upset that they lost their jobs, like, which I get, like no one wants to lose their job. But I don't know, like I mean, with the amount of censorship that was going on the platform, they're gonna have to fire a lot of people.
Yeah. Unless you're like, can you prove that you're gonna change your ways to not censor someone? But like, I wouldn't even bother doing that. So I was like, nope, you're out. I don't know. I say that, but I also like a bleeding heart too, though. And I hate confrontation. So just be like, I'll give you another chance.
Right.
I hate confrontation. Let's watch this entering Twitter HQ. Let that sink in from Elon Musk.
Oh, apparently the according to someone, the person with being interviewed with their box outside was a prank.
Okay, well, we'll see. Why is it, so what's the reason he has the sink?
It's the let that sink in. It's his
is that
favorite joke.
It's just a joke that he is doing, like he's just trying to do a pun. Okay, that's what I but I wasn't sure.
He said about Halloween one time that he was going to go to as a sink so that if he knocked on people's doors, they would have to let him in. So he's made it's like I said, it's his favorite joke. It's honestly.
He's like graduated to dad jokes now. He's a dad, but
it's adorable.
Yeah, he's like, hey, I made a funny pun, guys. You're all fired.
Oh, also, I forgot to. My microphone's dropping. I forgot to even say anything though. Too. We will have Lou Perez. We should have mentioned that earlier. He's just had to work late, so he is going to join us later. So, apologies. I was distracted by Juliet's costume that I didn't think of it. Too busy looking at a good-looking Biden. So
funny.
Also, I'm just going to keep throwing in things randomly in between like actual topics though, but we should do housekeeping as well. We've got Sunday Book Club, Slaughterhouse 5 by Kurt Vonnegut. Yes. Juliet will be hosting it at 11 p.m. Pacific / 2 p.m. Eastern. 11 p.m. Pacific is the fake time, according to Juliet and Paul, right? 2 p.m. Eastern is the real time.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, and so I think that's it for like uncommon videos coming up. And and Lou Perez, he will be on here. He just messaged me saying that he was working late. So stick around. You'll get some humor in soon when he comes, not us. We're not funny.
No.
So
we're girls.
Yeah, we're girls. Girls can't be funny. No. I would never have thought of a let that sink in pun and carrying an actual sink because I'm too weak. I'm a girl. I can't even carry a sink. And like I would drop it within like 5 feet of that door. Not even that far. I would, as soon as the door opened, I would drop it and be exhausted. So
well, the thing is the commitment of that. He literally was like, oh, I'm gonna go into the Twitter, offices today. And I'm going to literally go grab a sink from a hardware store and bring it with me. Like, the commitment there is pretty big. Like most people would go, "Oh, wouldn't it be funny if I did that?" and then not do it. But he's just like, "Nope, I'm doing it."
No,
Like, okay,
yeah,
wow,
I
good on
really
ya.
appreciate commitment to any bits or anything too. That's what the Ginger, my boyfriend, and I sometimes do. He'll like start a bit, but it ends up being like, who can make the person most uncomfortable in this bit? Like when we're just like committing so hard, and then so at the
Uh,
it's huge. You'd be like, "Wait, what?" And like make him feel bad in this bit. Like, well, you started it. Uh, but yeah, I love I love that Elon did that.
it's so funny.
Yeah, he's the type. I mean, I don't even know. Like, people talk about like what are his politics, like what his actual beliefs are. And I think Carter's talked to like his philosophy. He's not going to be as like deeply philosophical as one might really want. However, he's based enough, and he is fun enough for me that I'm like, yeah, do whatever you want. Like, we'll see how things go. Like, I think it's bad for anyone to be like, you are our savior for like any one person.
Yep.
But I think that I'd rather have you. We'll see how you do in charge right now and see if things get better. Like, and I like people who are fun. So that's why I like
I,
Trump too. I like Trump how when he's just not professional and
oh yeah.
I'm like, I thought it was great. What were you saying, Alex?
Someone was saying that like a dozen advertisers have written that they're going to pull their content off of YouTube off of Twitter if he lets Trump back on, and I was like, only a dozen?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, right?
like I don't know about you, but that number is not terrifying, like in the slightest. I'm like, a dozen? There has to be like more than 1,000 companies advertising on Twitter at any given moment. So I'm like, that's nothing.
Yeah. Well, and I take that as seriously as I took the people that when Trump got elected were like, I'm moving to Canada. I can't live here. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're gonna leave Twitter because you don't like one person that's on there. Go for it.
There was a Second City sketch in the ETC theater that was good. It kind of made fun of they're all going to be like the lefty side, but they made fun of themselves because it was like after Trump got elected and everyone's like, I'm going to move to Canada. So they did a sketch where one woman, I think she was just like living homeless, like out in the woods or something. Like she did move to Canada, and then like, I thought we were all doing this, guys, and then no, we didn't. They're all still living their lives. Like, no, I just lost everything. I got rid of everything. So one of the things that they actually did funny toward the end still. But yeah, I don't think I've seen too much else going on with Elon yet outside of his firing of people and the sync thing. Have you? Is there more news to talk about with Twitter?
No, I feel like it's just like in the works right now. I know he fired like everybody's most hated top people.
The
can't
bird
remember
is
their
freed,
names.
I guess he said.
Yeah, he did say that. Well, I'll give you some info. So you guys know that my account is banned. Like the
Mhm.
Plays Poems Pros account was banned last summer. So not this recent summer, but the one before that in 2021. Well, every time I appealed it, I got an automatic rejection email every time. I appealed it today, and I got an automatic email that said, we're reviewing your appeal. Like, which was already an improvement.
Yeah, same here. I actually just never got a response when I tried to appeal, and today I got the like, yeah, we'll review it.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Wow. I still haven't been banned on Twitter because I barely use it, and then I usually just retweet like bird, like duck and goose things. So I don't do anything. I say a lot of terrible things on YouTube that I'm surprised we haven't. Like, I'm so surprised that last week we didn't get banned or demonetized completely, though. I have no idea how that happened. We're just like limited ads, which
they'll get us in a year or whatever.
I know, yeah. Hopefully by then everyone will be going to Rumble, which I need to open up Rumble actually. I'm going to watch on Rumble instead. So
there we go.
Let me open Rumble. Oh yeah, Juliet's all over the Rumble rants on here.
Yeah.
Hate your state. Hello. Ron Green, he's always here. Ron Green is now on the scene. Like sinks are a girl's best friend. Pass the dish soap.
That's hilarious.
Sexist. Yeah. So hello, welcome on Rumble. We'd like everyone to move over there because we will eventually get banned on YouTube. That is just a matter of time for sure. And then once we like get more prepared on Rumble, if we haven't been banned on YouTube, we're gonna just start saying the worst things, like all the bannable stuff, and just see how long it takes before the AIs get us.
Yes.
I'll be the most racist one of all of us. But I'll just only make fun of Filipinos or like other Asians and stuff too, though. I'm like, am I allowed to say this because I am one? Will I get in trouble?
I've got it up now too. Okay.
Rumble.
Yeah.
Judson Pinson says I'm gonna jump over to Rumble. Yeah, so then he'll be over there. There's a few people. You can chat. I'll be reading. As long as the other two remind me to read them. Don't forget. Yeah, so I think that's it for Twitter. For now, we're gonna get into the Twitter twats soon, but we're gonna start off with Biden's bumbles. I think we have a few here. Yeah, these count as Biden's bumbles mostly. So let's do that. I need to make that clip longer to give me time to actually like, open up a tab to prepare it. You do it like for a full minute because then I'm like trying to rush. Like, I don't know where anything is. I've got like 100 tabs up. This one's already playing. Okay, what is this? Q. Given record inflation, why should voters choose Democrats? Biden? Because all right, let's see. Everything's turned down so low.
I want to turn to next month's election. You've referred to the midterm election as a choice rather than a referendum.
That's right.
Given record inflation, why should voters choose Democrats?
Because it's not record inflation anymore. I'm bringing it down. Look what we inherited.
I want to turn to next month's election.
I don't even know why the first paragraph. That's right. You said this thing. That's right. I did say that. Oh man, and people keep showing the whole Fetterman thing too, and I haven't watched all of it. Like I know there are clips. People sent me clips. I think it is interesting that Pennsylvania is really like up on there because of him. Though, like everyone keeps talking about it, but what was it? I think he said something where the way he answered it. I think it was either him or Biden. Now I'm mixing them up. Where they just answered like, "Oh no, I think it was the fracking," and he's just like, I've always been okay with fracking." But he like said it as a question, and it was also a total lie because like there are multiple clips of him saying, "I've always been against fracking. We will never frack ever again." But maybe we can find some of those clips there. But it also makes me sad, like even for Biden too. Like I don't know which I find worse, where like Fetterman not being able to speak well versus Biden. I don't know if Fetterman. I think I was listening to. I think it was Steven Crowder was saying like he doesn't know whether or not it's just the speak. Like sometimes after you have a stroke, your speech, like your brain might be functioning well, but your mouth, like your speech, just isn't really keeping up with it. Or it could be like his thoughts aren't keeping up with what he wants either, though. And so I don't know what the full situation is, but either way, it's just I think we can all should all admit that probably not the most equipped for the position if you can't handle.
Well, and then Holly Mathner wrote a Substack about this because she's disabled, she's deaf, and she thinks it's ridiculous that they're using ableism and disability studies as like rhetoric to defend him. I do suggest people read Holly's Substack because she's very smart and wonderful person, and like. I love her takes on whenever they bring up disability, because they bring up disability a lot. Like they're like, "Oh no, Biden has a stutter," that old
right,
yeah.
And she's like, "Yeah, sure, that's what it is." So, but yeah, like she and I had a conversation about it, and she was all like, "I held back on like some of my rhetoric, and I was like, oh, just meme it, like." As a way of spreading it. I don't know. My social media management mind was working for her.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there are certain disabilities that you can have and still be able to do a certain position, but they're like you have to they're not all equal. Like no, there isn't just like "Well, you're disabled in this way and someone's disabled another way." Like I wouldn't want a blind person driving the bus, for
Right.
example. Um, nor
The-
would I want an Asian woman like me driving anything. So
well, that was actually someone did do a really good point. They said that this was on Twitter that they said it. Accommodation. It's about reasonable accommodation. So,
Right.
for example, a blind person can be a senator, with audio interpretation for them, but they can't be a pilot. So
yeah.
it's how much you can have reasonable accommodations to let you do something, but once it's no longer reasonable then you can't do it. Like, I'm sorry, that's the limit. And I always felt that way actually about positions that involve physicality too. So like for firemen, they're like, oh, the male firefighters have to show that they can carry this much weight in a fireman's carry. Not women though; they don't have to do that. I'm like, fuck that! If
Right.
the house is on fire, someone has to be able to carry a person out.
This 400-pound man in the fire, and there's just the one. I mean, to be fair, a strong man probably couldn't do that on his own either, but still, just have this
They
like
would have like
5-foot woman.
they would have like a weightlifting like requirement for male firefighters, but then didn't have it for female firefighters to get female firefighters. And it's like, no, that's not appropriate. Every fireman or woman on the team should be able to carry like this minimum amount of weight. That's
Exactly.
reasonable. And that is not discriminatory, because I don't know, maybe there's a 6'3" woman who's really strong and she wants to be a firewoman and she can do it.
Well,
Yeah, go ahead.
because then you also have men who are going to be weaker too. Like, oh, you're tiny and weak, and like you're not going to be able to meet the requirements either. Like, yes, it sucks. Life is unfair. Like, there are so many
Mhm.
Yes.
things that like I think this was different about whatever. But like, so I get it, but it's just you can't, especially when it comes to people's lives too. When you're like might be saving people's lives. Like, I don't want to risk like, oh, and like let this woman do it where she can't lift like 20 pounds, let alone like a full sized human. I do remember an episode of Parks and Recreation where they did like a feminist thing with the garbage workers. And then like because they couldn't move like it was like a refrigerator, like some big thing that they had to like put it into the truck or in the dumpster or whatever. And I think they ended up getting it, but I don't remember if it ended up being like they had to get like a bunch of women to do it. So it's just all these women that work together to do it. But it's like looking back on like, okay, but now you're forcing like if they're all female garbage employees to just do this one thing when you probably should be going around the rest of the 60,000 population town to handle this thing. It's probably not the most efficient use of your money.
No. Well, I mean, this thing it's reality. They're betting up against reality. They want things to be nice and acceptable, and it's like, well, reality isn't nice and acceptable. People have limits, and that includes cognitive limits as well. And this idea that, oh, we shouldn't have to pigeonhole everyone, and it's like, well, you're just turning us all into Harrison Bergeron. And I don't really want to live in that society. It's kind of miserable and awful, and I assume people are going to die, like because if you're basically saying, well, we can't have people with higher cognitive abilities necessarily in all the higher cognitive requiring jobs, well, it's like, well, then surgeons are going to fail. And people are going to die, and like this is going to happen. And it's ridiculous to act as though that's not the reality we're facing. And it's like,
Yep.
it is. And that's true for people in politics. They have to have a certain cognitive ability. They have to be able to take in information, relay information back. They have to be able to make decisions sometimes really quickly. And they have to be able to read huge amounts of bills and all these policies and, have debates. If you can't do those things, you shouldn't be a politician, especially not at the federal level. My God.
Right. Like, why is this not obvious? I can't even believe how well he's still polling. Like, okay, how about get cognitive testing done and release all the results? Prove to us that your brain actually does function. You just can't, you have like a speech problem, which is what his wife keeps saying. But I'm sorry, I don't trust her because she has like the Disney villain eyebrows.
Does she? I don't even know what she looks like.
Anyone who listens to Josh Slocum's podcast knows that means she's probably cluster B, and she's probably a little bit psycho.
Anyone who is letting their spouse or whatever significant other do something, you know, like Jill Biden stuff too, like you're not caring about the person anymore.
No.
I call those women Lady Macbeths.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, look at those eyebrows.
Yeah.
All right, hang on. Let me stop sharing that one.
Let me see that.
Eyebrows. Where did it go? I just did Fetterman wife. Hopefully this is the right woman. Let's see, brave. Is this her?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Look, she's so tiny. Oh.
Well, he's huge.
How big is he?
6'8".
Wow.
Jesus.
Okay.
Like,
okay.
he's
So she's not tiny.
gigantic. Yeah.
All right. Let's see. How tall? Let me guess. If she's not in heels, how tall is she? 6'8". It's like, I don't know. It's 9 inches, 10 inches. I like to know what people's heights are. But yeah, I was looking where those eyebrows there.
Yeah,
those are heavy.
Those are some caterpillars.
That's
what
choice.
the movie that Motown in the community had suggested for movie night and then did not show up. So then we all sat through this terrible 0 budget movie, The Haunting of Murder House. The one thing I honed in immediately on everyone. There was like guys and then like one girl. They all have gigantic eyebrows. And so then I mentioned that and everyone else was just like, now I can't not see this. Like they were all stuck focusing on that. Hey, we've got Lou. Let's get rid of giant eyebrows and bring on Lou.
Hello.
Hello.
It's the Lou Perez in the house. I don't know if you've ever met Alex or Juliet, but here they are.
Look at, oh my God. I'm so jealous of your backgrounds. You got some really cool stuff going on.
Yeah, Juliet got
Juliet,
Biden.
are you okay? It looks like you're being
an adult.
What does your hair smell like? I think Joe might be onto something.
Well, welcome. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you so much. I wanted to be here at 5.
No, it's fine. I was also worried too. I was telling them, I'm like, I had to like finish writing something. I'm like, I may or may not. I might be late. I might have to multitask and like work on this article while doing the stream. So I'm like, I get it.
Oh, an article? I just see your guitar back there. And I'm like,
yeah.
I hope Beverly was working on some music. And she's like, look, I just have this song in me that I need to get out.
Song in my heart. And yeah, her name is Epsilon.
Epsilon.
Epsilon. Yeah. Yeah.
So the only guys here are me and Joe Biden.
Yeah.
We're outnumbered, Joe.
Oh no. Well, it depends unless we identify as something else. So you're making assumptions now, Lou. We're gonna get banned. But thanks for that.
I'm misgendered all the time on the internet. My name is Alex and I have short hair. That's enough, apparently.
Well, Lou, can you introduce yourself and just tell people what you are?
Sure. I'm Lou Perez. I'm a comedian. And I'm also an author. I have a book. It's and I don't know if you hear the babies crying, but I also
from reading the book.
Yeah.
Maybe not like the book.
People write parenting books about how to stop babies from crying, and mine is just about how to make them cry. I'm an awful father.
Just sits there like scaring it all the time.
So I'm an author of a book. It's called That Joke Isn't Funny Anymore, on the death and rebirth of comedy. And you can get it in book form, paperback, and the audiobook came out not too long ago. So I recorded the audiobook as well. So if anybody wants to, if anybody is interested, if they like my voice and they don't know how to read, well, boy, do I have a gift for you.
And he means like live production. Like you call him up and he'll just read books to you
Sure.
live, one-on-one. Oh, that's awesome. And so what all are you doing, like any sketch stuff right now on, because you were on We the Internet, right? That was
Yeah, I used to do We the Internet TV. We're coming up on, I think it was around yeah, I think we're 2 years now since I worked with them. And in the meantime, I've been doing, when I can, producing sketch comedy, and I've also been having a lot of fun, like putting stuff on TikTok. Like I'm a 40-year-old man who enjoys putting his stuff on TikTok. I hope that I'm just confusing the Chinese Communist Party, and that they get a little, maybe they get a little too cocky and think like, oh, we're definitely going to conquer America if the men are like this,
The Lou Perez just keeps putting videos of him scaring his babies out.
Exactly. So yeah, when anytime I have an opportunity to make sketch comedy, I like to grab it and go with it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, feel free to make fun of everything on here. We've just been talking about Biden, and
so much has happened, guys. It's pretty insane.
And then we covered Elon Musk taking over Twitter too. So now he's chief twit. So that's exciting.
Do you have any comments on that?
What am I commenting? Well, I hope we see a lot more pun work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We played that clip of the sink.
Yeah, the sink. Like, we really need a lot more of that.
Hilarious.
You know what's so funny? There's absolutely no way that Elon has anyone in his life that was like, "Hey, Elon, that's kind of corny." Like nobody said it to him. I wonder what the next pun is.
He's just fired everyone who's ever said, like, who tried saying this is cheesy. Like, no.
Yeah.
Well, he makes a pun about cheese and then fires you.
Yeah. Well, well, I think we're at a point where I guess now it's real. Now he really does own Twitter, and I guess I'm hopeful for it to become a more free speech platform. I think I don't know if you guys have talked about this already, about concerns about his relationships with Russia, with China. What does that mean on globally, on what Twitter means in other countries? So I think that's something to be vigilant about. I actually I saw somebody had commented on Twitter something along the lines of 75% of the users are global and they're not in the United States. So to try to kind of construct the new rules of engagement on Twitter along a more First Amendment side, it's like allow everything, everything goes except for threatening people with violence and and that sort of thing. And the guy who talked about that was just pointing out that that they don't do that in other countries, as far as they just don't. Free speech is just not a universal value as much as we might want to think that it is. So I'm hoping that who knows, maybe this could be an actual platform where legit free speech takes place. I'd like that.
Yeah, I mean, like we said earlier, that he's fired a bunch of people too. So I think that's a start. When you're, at least we'll see who he puts in place of those ones, though. But we'll
there's so much bitterness too. Like the same people who for years were saying, look, it's a private company, they could do whatever they want.
Right.
Now they're pissed off because this
out.
guy owns it, and then also
they're gonna panic and say it's a private company, they can do whatever they want.
It is pretty amazing, though. I mean, what was he was talking about? Firing how many people? 7,500, something like that.
Oh, really? Okay, I didn't know.
Was it that many? I don't know. Was that?
We'll say it's that many.
Yeah, somebody will correct us in the chat. Probably people who've already been fired.
Yeah, they're in here and they're mad now.
But yeah, well, just the idea too. I don't work in tech. I don't know how many people you actually need to run something, to run a company like this. But yeah, so, interesting weekend.
Yeah, right.
Well, and when it comes to the thing about it being a global square and other countries not having free speech laws, is that I was following like closely since he said he wanted to buy it, like some of his thoughts, because he's like minor, like smaller niggles and stuff, because he says he's a free speech absolutist, but I'm like, no, I don't trust people at their word. Like, I'm like, okay, give me what you say that means. Okay?
What word did you use earlier, Alex?
What?
Smaller what?
Little niggles. Yeah.
I was hoping she wouldn't repeat that word.
I just wanted to hear it. Let's all say niggles at the same time.
But like
little
stuff
niggle.
like
that's my rap name, actually. So,
I'm a little niggle.
Little niggle. So stuff like, oh, he wants to get rid of bots, and people are telling him everyone should use their real names, and I was like, no, anonymity is important to freedom of speech, and I've always believed that goes back centuries, and then he was like, oh no, people should be able to stay anonymous if they want to be. And I was like, oh, thank God. I was like, don't do that. Because like, yeah, people in like the Middle East or Asia who want to speak out should be able to without fear of being like arrested. And a big part of that has to be being allowed to not be labeled as their actual legal name. So I was glad that he picked up on that, because that is actually like a serious issue that a lot of people in Western nations don't get. That like, wait a minute, anonymous like writing.
You're really struggling with that word.
I know. I always.
I struggle with
drunk. I could say it. I'm absolutely certain.
Linoleum. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Wasn't there recently a case of, I believe it's an American citizen in Saudi Arabia who has been sentenced to like 10 or 16 years in prison for previous tweets or social media posts. So yeah, that is something of that's quite concerning. Yeah, something on the lighter side. Have you guys noticed that the amount of people critics of Elon Musk, who think that the best way to get at him is to post pictures of him where he doesn't look very attractive? So
my God.
So like people are putting up pictures of him when he was a younger guy and he had less hair, right? And look, men do what they can to get more hair. But what's so funny is it's like, look, guys, if you're not more attractive than he is, like, just refrain from pointing out his looks, because for one, you're not attractive and you're not a billionaire.
Yeah,
so it's sort of like this dude wins, like, pick your battles a little bit.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, because like, if he still did not have hair and he's a billionaire, like of course he's gonna have some sort of hair. Like you got the money to do anything you want. He could look however he wanted if he chose.
He could wear my hair if he wants.
Yeah.
He could scalp me. I don't care.
Why they get that money? Apropos of nothing, Lou, as a comedian, you've done more sketch stuff than you haven't done stand-up.
Oh yeah, no, I do stand up.
You do stand up? Okay. So then maybe it won't apply to you as much though. But I was just curious how, like, when you tell people that you're a comedian, how many people will say, "Oh, tell me a joke."
Yeah, no,
it's like the worst thing ever, though.
Well, it's still a thing. It's almost it's like a cliche that actually plays itself out in real life.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of like the last time that happened. I think I just asked the person, well, what they do for a living, and then expect them to reciprocate.
Do some surgery on me right now.
Yeah. Well, I ask any male to just check me for a hernia. It doesn't even have to be a doctor. So.
Like I did. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, I don't know. There's something, there's something innocent about asking that question. I think one thing that I found is, a lot of the people that I hang out with are, quote unquote, normal people. So you rarely meet somebody who is in entertainment, let alone a comedian. So it's sort of like a rare find. And what I find is that a lot of people are, very interested in what that means that I'm a comedian. What is it that I do? And then I find myself way more interested in what they do with their lives. Like I have a neighbor who, like, he basically built his own house.
Ooh.
Like he built it.
Wow.
And it's sort of like, yeah, dude, I make jokes and put stuff out on Twitter, but who gives a fuck? Like, how did you make that cabinet? Like that's to me, that's insane. That's just a completely alien world to me. I'd rather listen to him speak than
Right.
me talking. So.
Yeah, well, that's what I was in Chicago and I did improv and sketch and stuff out there. So then it was just that community. We were all comedians and stuff, but they would talk about, when they meet other normies, they'd get it all the time. I don't even know. I probably have gotten it. I can't remember. But then, so then I think if I have responded with it, I just do like cheesy puns instead. Though I'm like, here, let me see.
You carry a sink. You carry a
yeah.
Like Beverly's weird. She's always carrying a sink with her. She's always prepared.
I store nothing in it either. I could use it for something, but yeah. So I was just curious how like what you do when you've had that, because I guess I guess as stand up, you don't really. A lot of them, they're not just like one-liners. I feel like a lot of comedians now, they do more storytelling. But
yeah, I think it's. Yeah, I think it's a little more rare to have like one-liner comedians. Like there's some one-liner comedians that are great. Like Gary Vider, Vider. Like he's a wonderful comedian. I actually met Gary years and years ago. My brother worked an office job with him, and I got to go see him do stand up like very early on. But yeah, it's a tough. I think like. You have to be so sharp to be like a one-liner comedian. For one, you have to have so much material, because if you think about it, it's like you're dealing with seconds as opposed to like, oh yeah, I have this story and it's like 5 minutes long. It's like you have seconds to,
right.
To hit. And then, yeah.
I feel like Mitch Hedberg was one of the best.
There are some classics that are really good. Just ones, I don't listen to a lot of stand-up, but like the ones that I know, they're all more storytelling based. I think my answer should be like, tell me a joke, and I just respond with, no, I'm not funny, and then leave.
I have one. Yeah, I have one. I don't even know if this is necessarily a joke, but I say, have you ever farted in a room and thought, oh, the music's so loud, no one will smell that? I don't even know if that's really like a.
That's a weird thing to think, though.
Yeah. I think I came up with that like 20 years ago, and I'm like,
when it happened to you,
I'll keep that in the background. Oh yeah, I mean I don't know when the last time you guys have been to like a nightclub, but
never.
Like back in college, like you would do stuff like that. Like you'd be on the dance floor. I think it's sort of like the equivalent of like being in a pool and rather than getting out to take a leak, you just piss in the pool. It's like you're on the dance floor. You're probably, I guess, a guy, like you're probably, in the midst of like other dudes, right? So you let one go and then just look at a stranger as if they did it. And just, oh my God, Juliet, you and Joe, I'm looking at Joe right now. right over your shoulder.
I know.
I was telling them, I was crying laughing when I was trying to put this together last night.
Crying because she's upset by the sexual harassment. Yeah.
He's like, do me a favor, to fart or something. I need to know you're alive. I need all these different smells. That's my joke, my terrible joke.
In chat, there's some people saying what they do for a living, like Real Raven 2000. Hello. He says that he's a music producer. I'm assuming most everyone here is male because that is what our demographic always says on YouTube. So saying says I'm a music producer and I'm always asked to sing a song, which that's so crazy that like, do you know? I'm sure some do, but that's not my first thought when they say like I produce music. like, oh, sing me this song. I like Winky
Right.
says, I am a rapist. People don't ask.
How do you make money doing that though? You have to. Do you also have to go through their pockets and?
Yeah, I think so. Which you already have them probably, immobile. So
Well,
you
it's
can take
it's definitely the second worst thing that you've done for them. That situation.
Yeah. Right. Let me go over to Rumble too and make sure that I'm saying that we're paying attention because Judson went over there. So let me read where are we at. After Ron Green had said "Sings Her Girl's Best Friend." JBX, hello. Oh, JBSX, sorry. Or I'll just start saying JB6. Earlier Judson had said any epileptic can do any position when we were talking about Fetterman and disabled people of disabilities. Sorry, you're supposed to put the people before whatever the thing is that you talk about. People of color, people of disabilities, chair of red. Ron Green, yes. Yasima, hello. I love all the names that I don't know how to pronounce, and I'm just going to try and then change it up each time.
Yes.
Well, let's go and continue our Biden's bumbles. This one isn't Biden directly, but it is, what's her face? I don't ever remember who she is, and I have to ask every single time. Jean-Pierre. I forget. I posted this one, I think, and I don't even remember what it is. It might not be good. Let's see. Is it showing up?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
President Biden last year likened the new Georgia voting law to, quote, Jim Crow in the 21st century, but turnout so far in the state's midterm elections has smashed midterm records. Today it topped 1 million votes overall. That's about 70% more than 2018, on par with the presidential election turnout. Was President Biden wrong with his assessment of Georgia's voting law, or does he stand by that Jim Crow comparison?
So, as you know, I got to be careful. I cannot get into politics from here, so won't comment specifically on that race or on the elections or the data that's coming out of Georgia. But the president has been very clear that based on the big lie, there have been a host of anti-voter policies forced on states that challenge America's fundamental right to vote, right? The access to voting. And so this is against our most basic values, including respect for the law and the Constitution. And speaking generally, of course, more broadly, high turnout and voter suppression can take place at the same time. They don't have to be, one doesn't have to happen on its own. They could be happening at the same time. But I'll leave it there without being able to really dig into the politics of this.
That's right. The video was like a minute and a half about her not actually saying anything.
Yeah, she didn't really answer the question at all.
Then I got distracted because she just she was really bouncing around when she was.
Yeah, it's like she has headphones in actually, like your little ear pods.
Oh,
playing music.
Yeah. So she's just grooving.
But she doesn't actually answer that question, and she has some phrases, sort of like Psaki did, that she likes to repeat. And the president has been very clear, and like I love her face though during the reporter asking the question because she looks so like, oh fucking hell.
Yeah. She looks very upset that this question is happening.
Like, they hate the press corps. They're like, why do we allow you in here to ask questions every day?
Yeah, like why are we still doing this? It's obviously just an opportunity for like I guess members of the press corps to just build their social media following. Like the guy, what's the name? Ducey? I think that's the guy who asked that question. Like yeah, it's almost like that's the show. It's like, Ducey and the press secretary, is that what her
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know. She's not good at this though. I mean the amount of time she has to look down at the binder and stuff, it's just, I don't know. Yeah, I feel like there are a lot better liars and spinners that you could you could hire.
Like especially if you're going to keep looking down at your binder, like then you've got your like cheat sheet of things though, so your answer should be better. That at least what's her name, the McEnany, when she
Oh,
had like
yeah.
anything, she was just really like, okay, I'm prepared for any question, but I've got like this stuff here, but she'll use it, but still be able to speak really clearly and like, here's the point that I'm making.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be
She was a lot better at it.
wouldn't it be wild if Jean-Pierre was just like, look, we're not as good at racism as we used to be. Like there were like original Jim Crow was a lot more racist and a lot more successful at being racist than Jim Crow 2.0. Like I'm sorry. There's
I'm
too many
sorry.
new apps and stuff on Jim Crow 2.0. It's not working. There's a lot of bugs in the system.
Just time like, well, I'm sorry, we're trying our best. We really are, but it's.
I mean, there's something, I don't know. There's something to be said, that more people are in spite of whatever these new laws were, and it's like, isn't that something to be happy about? Isn't that something to be, or even spin it like, look, even though these laws are there, they're not keeping people down. We are finding a way to get to the polls. We are, overcoming. There isn't even that. There isn't even like that attempt to respond to it. So.
Yeah, she went completely non-specific because the data didn't support her point, and she couldn't even spin it in a specific way. She's not that good at lying.
I know. Yeah, at least get a better liar.
Yeah.
What was it? I saw on Rumble. Who was it? I hate your state. Said the president is literally transparent.
Yes.
Yeah. And thank you, people in chat, for saying her name, because they're saying Karine Jean-Pierre. It's appreciated, but I'm also never gonna remember it. So it's gonna come up every time. Every time I see her, or like she's referenced as press secretary, I keep thinking Jean-Pierre is her first name too, so that's gonna happen.
You're better.
One.
Oh,
Sorry.
go ahead.
Ron Green 1 on Rumble says, how often does Karine have to water that plant on her head?
I like
That's
her
what I was
hair.
watching. I like it too, but when she was bouncing around, like I was watching it kind of go like a, yeah. Someone asked too, like, what color is it supposed to be? And I was wondering, like, because she's got like a kind of bright red. Like, I'm not against it. I think it's fun.
Well, I find a lot of times like comments like that online when someone like points out like, oh, look at this blue-haired blah blah blah, and I'm like, I think that's really hot. Like,
oh no,
but like stuff that is just not not supposed to turn you on, or like that people point out online. I'm like, what are you talking about, man? Oh, I think her hair looks great.
No,
Really
I like a lot of colorful things though. So I like when I see brightly colored hair, but it usually is just attached to a terrible personality. And a lot of times terrible face. So
in 2020, before like I really got involved in Unsafe Space or anything, I was like, because I'm a gaming streamer, I thought about dyeing my hair like crazy colors for my live streams and stuff. And then like everything went to shit. And then everyone started talking about like, oh, the blue hairs. And I was like, maybe I don't want to present that at it. Like, even though I thought it looked cool, and like some of the like shaved sides and stuff like that, I think that punk look looks nice, and it does fit with the gaming like sphere and everything. But I was like, I don't want to like attract that kind of like that kind of audience. So I was like, never mind. I was like, you ruined the punk aesthetic. You ruined it.
That's true. Yeah, they ruin everything though, so it's not surprising.
No.
Yeah.
It's
like you might like it, but I don't want to be associated with
it.
Which I mean, that happens a lot too with other things. That like even if you say like you're a libertarian, and then that has like connotation. That's the first thing I thought of, where it's the connotations of like, oh, but everyone. My biggest thing, I don't even care about the other people that they associate with. I think I don't like that it's associated with being conservative, because that was where like, oh, they throw you in with the right though, but I'm like, no, it's just off. You're not left and right, like you're off that spectrum. Because not all conservatives want that small government. So like I don't want to land in there anywhere. But so then I've been thinking recently too, I'm like, oh, I don't even want to use it. I'll just try and say like, I am an individualist who believes in like tiny voluntary government.
Well, you have the that what was it? That guy who attacked Mr. Pelosi, right? What was that? Either last night or today, and it's amazing watching people go back and forth, like really hoping that he's a Republican. Like, please God, let this maniac be a Republican. And like stuff is coming out about him.
I didn't
Like,
even
Oh,
know
is
what
it?
happened. What is this news?
all I know about is that at some point there was a home invasion of Nancy Pelosi's house, and her husband was like hit with a hammer or something like that.
Oh my
And
gosh.
yeah,
Okay.
Jeez.
and it looks like he's gonna be fine, which that's good. I mean, it's must be just an awful experience. And then immediately people go to like, this has to be politically motivated, and Republicans, you see what you're doing, and MAGA this and all that, and stuff's coming out about the guy, kind of being from what I've read, just sort of like a stereotype of what you think of Berkeley, like a dude who was at like attended like a nudist wedding or some sort, and has like hemp jewelry or something like that. And all I'm thinking is like, me, because I'm part of the LP, and I'm like, we got to get this guy, man. We need this guy. It's like here they are, like, no, he's a Republican, or he's a Democrat and so that. I'm like, I don't know, man. He kind of sounds like a libertarian. Maybe that's how we get on the map, by having this fucking maniac.
Yeah, libertarians really like their.
Did he really answer the door with a hammer?
Was he a handyman? I mean, I don't know.
He answered when the door was answered. He had a hammer. Who was answered?
No,
Or is it Mr.
Are they
Pelosi?
saying that Pelosi had a hammer when he answered the door? Like, that's just weird.
Is that what they're saying? Oh.
Wouldn't it be great if journalists wrote like cohesive sentences that told you facts and weren't confusing? Like, that shouldn't be confusing at all.
Yeah.
And yet,
excuse me, Juliet. I'm part of mainstream media now that I'm a reporter again. I don't like you making fun of my people.
Yeah. Well, there's such that it's sort of like the first move now isn't to provide facts and information. It's to how does this help my side? And it's just like I think over the years, I mean, that probably has a lot to do with the distrust in media that we've seen, and I think rightfully so, where it's like what narrative are they trying to tell, as opposed to I just want to know what happened. I hope the man is okay. I hope Mr. I don't know his first name. I hope Mr. Pelosi is okay.
Paul
Pelosi. Oof.
He'll live. Hopefully he'll live to drink and drive another day.
Paul Pelosi. Paul Pelosi. That's just like too close to the first syllable of his last name. That's just not.
Yeah, it is
great.
So chat is saying that Paul answered the door with a hammer, and when the cops showed up, they were fighting over the hammer.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah. Why would? So he didn't even come with his own weapon. What was his plan initially?
No.
He was just he knew that this is the hammer time, the time that Mr. Pelosi carries his hammer around, so he came to the door. Like, all right. And also I was saying earlier, the I'll Fight You Naked, I was talking about Lou's short. Lou made a comedy short about my life. Stop making me defend Donald Trump.
I thank you very much. I love hearing that. Yeah, that's a sketch I made years back. I had no idea. I did not think it would be as successful as it is. To me, it was at the time I was just like, oh man, here's a sketch. I got to get it out, and they got it out. And it's Stop Making Me Defend Trump. It's about a guy who does not support Donald Trump, doesn't like him, didn't vote for him, but constantly feels the need to correct people when they say things that are in error about Donald Trump, either outright lies or what have you. And it resonated with a lot of people over the years, which is really cool, because there are a lot of that's cool when you're able to make something that people dig.
Well, that's what Alex and I were talking about yesterday too on the stream. Not about Trump specific, but just about people. We were talking about Bayonetta, and then the voice actress who I will always forget her name.
Helena Taylor.
How she kind of like spun things enough where like she wasn't able to like she was only going to get paid such a little amount for voicing Bayonetta. And is that the right? I'm saying the right name, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we were saying how like it would be enough when you told the truth about what happened, that would be enough. But when you exaggerate and spin things to make it seem worse, then now that makes me doubt you. And now I'm not as on your side as I would have been if you just said that. Like, there's enough to criticize Trump about that you can say like, oh, I don't like him for such and such reasons. Like, okay. But when you just start lying and making up crap, then it's like, well, now I don't believe anything you're saying because now you're a liar.
Yeah.
And I think like in any relationship, you know, like if you had a partner, you know, if you were dating somebody who was doing shit like that, you'd be like, hey, what are you doing? Like, I no longer trust you. And the idea that it's coming from strangers, it's like, whoa, you know, it's sort of like the there's another level, you know, there, you know.
Right. Yeah, because I'm like, we need to like trust needs to be earned and like built up though. So like I already didn't trust you, and now I'm like we're going to the negatives here. So like you're not making this any better. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, or you know, if you have people where it's like they might have it wrong, but they're willing to admit that they're wrong and to like learn from it, which I think is becoming more and more rare.
Yes.
You know, it's even like pointing out hypocrisy too. You know, like we talked about a little earlier with Elon Musk buying Twitter. You know, the people are like, well, it's a private company, and then you know they do the 180 on it, and if you know confronted with that, they'll probably just dig in even harder. You know, or just find another way to pivot and be like, well, this is different. You know, this isn't like Jeff Bezos, because Jeff Bezos, yes, he bought the Washington Post, but he doesn't actually, you know, direct the editorial direction of it. You know, like
I'm sure. Yeah, makes sense. Why would he?
It's like, it's the thing is those that they say, oh, this is different because, and it's like, then insert justification here when the real answer is probably, this is different because I agree with this person's politics. It's like, that's the actual answer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go, Piper.
Oh no, it's fine. You can go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to say, earlier you guys were talking about like John Fetterman, right? And it's just like John Fetterman and Dr. Oz, like that's what politics does, where it forces you to choose between these two people. Like you have to debase yourself and be like, well, I got to support this guy or I got to support this other guy. And it's like, you know, not just the people of Pennsylvania, but everyone, like, you're better than that. You know, come on. You're better than that. Don't quit lying to yourself.
Technically, we do have other people too, because I had to just write about like a list. I wouldn't have known otherwise, and I had to look it up to write about it. But it's Fetterman, Oz, and then there's like the Green Party, Libertarian Party, the Keystone Party of Pennsylvania. Like there were like small, so you don't have to choose between two. I know that they really push for it, but like technically, there are other ones.
When I was in speech class in college, so I was pretty young at the time, and just finally able to, you know, vote and get involved in politics as an adult. And I literally, one of my speeches was, you don't have to vote for one of the two parties. There are other parties you could vote for. And the argument that voting for another party is basically throwing your vote away is a self-fulfilling prophecy. And because if everyone is saying that, then no one ends up voting for them except for a small amount of people. And then it is not effective. So that is not a good argument. And like literally, I'm like 19 years old and recognizing that this is a problem. And like, yeah, definitely, you don't have to choose the Republican or the Democrat. It is not a requirement. And we need to. I also studied like what happened with presidential debate, and like a lot of third party people are like, they screwed us out of being part of the presidential debates years ago. And I found all the like what happened and everything, and I was like, yeah, that needs to change. That needs to change. We need to let third parties into major debates again. It needs to happen because it's ridiculous that everyone's like, well, I'm choosing between what I consider the less of two evils. It's like,
Right.
don't
It's a terrible
do that.
choice.
Yeah.
And similarly, it is not even just with like voting, but I think that idea too, like I'll use like YouTube and Rumble as an example, where it's like, oh, why would we want to push more on Rumble? Like no one's watching it over there. Like, yeah, because we haven't like pushed it. We haven't gotten people like, but then you have to build it up and get more. And like, and we have a decent amount. I'm surprised they have 16 watching over there.
Well, I mean, that was one of the things that in my interview with Bauer about Utreon is that what he said is that people want the competitor to YouTube, but they want the competitor with the following that YouTube already has, that it got over a decade of time. And it's like, well, that's not going to happen. That's not feasible.
So it's just, yeah, it's going to take time and it's slow and we're going to keep promoting it. I'll read another, what was the thing that I saw? Oh, back on Paul Pelosi. And I did like this. Who was it? Hang on. It was, someone said that wasn't the first time Paul Pelosi was hammered. But I lost it now. I don't remember. Sorry. I would attribute it to the name, but I can't find it. There's so many chats over there on Rumble right now. Okay, well, are we ready for the next one over here? We've got a few more of Biden. I love me some Biden. And clearly Juliet does too. Whoops, I don't know. I can't turn it up.
Stay away, but head over.
Oh my God, I'm boomerang.
I married a beautiful woman from Skaneateles Lake, was at Syracuse. I met her on spring break and fell head over heels in love with her, and gave up a starting job on the football team in Delaware to come up every weekend because I couldn't stay away.
So he's lying, by the way.
Again.
So he claims that he gave up a starting spot on the University of Delaware football team to visit his first wife every weekend after he met her. Okay, so
that's not true.
Oh no. I like that. I really like that story.
Yeah, he told it so well too.
Come on.
So he gave up. He was never had a starting position. He was on the freshman team, and he had to give up football because he was failing his classes, and his dad didn't want him to do football anymore because he thought it was a distraction from his studies.
Huh. Well,
yep.
Joe definitely has a history of lying.
Yeah. Does he?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
As a politician?
Well, didn't he outright plagiarize back in the I think in the 80s or something like that?
But he's only been a politician for like 50 years, right? That's not enough time.
Oh, Joe.
I don't know what these other ones.
Is that the story of his first wife? Or
yeah, it looks like it was supposed to be first wife. I didn't even know how many times he's been married.
Is that awkward for Dr. Biden to constantly hear about all these stories about the first wife? I mean,
has there just been one other wife? You know what? He probably doesn't even remember that it was a different wife. He probably just combines them both.
So I think his first wife was killed in a car accident. I think a child, right? Which is
with their daughter in the car.
Yeah, that's so it's so horrific. Okay. But in a way, it's sort of like I just realized like Joe Biden has like one of those Hallmark movie lives right now.
Yeah,
it's sort of like he's a widower, and then at some point, Dr. Biden comes into his life and like wins him back, and
and then he gets senile, and she allows him to become president of the United States. Classic Hallmark.
I think he met her when she was 15.
How old was he? Is this going to be an Elvis thing?
Kind of, yeah.
Priscilla?
Jerry Lee Lewis just died.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Great Balls of Fire.
Everyone's dying.
Yeah.
So what was Biden's story? Like I knew he lost a son. I didn't know. Actually, no, I don't pay attention to people's lives, so I didn't realize that about his first wife and daughter.
Yeah.
Oh. And then the son was a separate thing?
I don't know about the son. I just knew about the car crash with his wife and daughter.
Okay, man, that is tragic. I do feel bad for him, and then, but I guess same with Alex when we talked yesterday about Dahmer, where it was like also reminding yourself like there's some sympathy here with Dahmer's situation, and then you have to remember he murdered a bunch of people though.
Right.
So, where it's just like Biden, like, yeah, I feel bad for, and especially his family. But then there's also like, you've been doing a lot of dirty things in politics for 50 years. So I also, I'm not as sympathetic as maybe I would be otherwise.
I haven't watched the Dahmer thing because
Because
I'm a homophobe.
Yeah.
That's why I haven't watched that.
Then you might be fine. He's killing a lot of gay people, so
I haven't watched the Dahmer thing or Bros because I am homophobic.
So apparently all 3 of their kids were in the car, but only the daughter died.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That is super sad. Well, let's bring it back to levity. And
in my chat on Rumble is saying that Jill was the kid's babysitter. That's how they met. And that's gross.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Sorry, I needed to let that sink in.
Gross,
Yeah, really.
Gross or hot? I just want to make sure I heard that right. And Alex is having trouble pronouncing words. We had niggly earlier. And then, did you mispronounce hot? Okay,
no.
Sure. She can someone confirm whether she was 15 at the time? Because I also don't know how old the babysitter might have been then. Also, awesome one. I saw that Alex put the Rumble link in the live chat. I updated it in the description as well because he's like, why is there no Rumble link in description? Man, I'm awesome. He didn't say that, but it was implied. All right, let's see. What do we have here? We've got MSNBC hosts gets wrecked by a panel of chuds who have done their homework. I haven't seen this one. One of you two sent it. You two.
Doug Mastriano was at the insurrection and he was photographed breaching one of the restricted areas. Is that okay?
Go Penn.
Which area? Because I saw a video where Capitol officers were taking away barriers and unlocking doors for people. So, I mean,
they opened the gates.
So it shouldn't be disqualifying for an elected official if they participated in January 6th?
He didn't strike anybody. He didn't hurt anybody.
And the only one that died was a protester there, not a Capitol police
unarmed
officer.
Female veteran.
That's the only one that died.
That's the only one who died.
A police officer did die.
No, it was a stroke.
That's
not on site.
Caused by that. That's because he shouldn't have been a police officer.
Wow.
So what do you make though overall of January 6th? I mean, watching that footage, it was pretty disturbing. I mean, there were people throwing excrement at the wall.
The guy in the Capitol.
It looked a lot like Antifa's actions to me.
Except on a much smaller scale, it looked the same as the Black Lives Matter riots.
That's what I saw the similarities to be.
Minneapolis burns, Kenosha burns.
So it's okay just because one side that you disagree with.
I'm saying Antifa infiltrated.
It's good for one, it's good for the other.
Anybody who harms anybody who caused property destruction, that needs to be dealt with.
Yeah,
but if you're there making your voice heard at the people's house, no less, that's again, it's a fundamental constitutional right of an American citizen, and people should not be being held political prisoner because of it.
For misdemeanors. That's East Germany.
That's East Germany.
Tactics.
Yeah, that's what's scary.
It was an actual fiery but mostly peaceful protest. And the other ones that were the opposite.
Was the protest legitimate in your eyes?
Administration, I feel like, is using it as their Reichstag fire.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they're using it as.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that
Wow. Wait, there's more?
Trump could have quelled the violence that day?
Not him
personally. I don't think so, no.
I don't think so.
It started while he was still speaking. I was actually there. I was there to see what I thought was going to be the last time I ever saw Trump, little did I know.
So did he tell everybody to go and start riding?
No.
I didn't think so.
No, and it actually, I stayed for the whole speech, like a ton of people did.
Mm-hmm.
And then we all headed to the Capitol because he said, let's go to the Capitol and peacefully, let our
Peacefully,
voices be
keyword.
heard. And we get to the Capitol, and we're like, what the hell's going on? Because it had already happened.
I'm pretty sure I saw Democratic operatives instigating people to cross
totally.
barriers.
And just that one guy, his reaction when the reporter's talking, and then he's just turns his head and like, oh my God, why won't she stop talking? Kind of like, wow.
Why do we do this though? I mean, I get why we do this. It's just, I don't do this, but let me get together, a dozen people from this side of the aisle, and let me try to get them to look like fools on camera, which I don't think she actually was successful at. And then somehow their opinions are going to derail whatever legitimate concerns there might be. I don't know. It's just so transparent. Just seeing stuff like this. It's sort of, I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think this one's fun because like they clearly intended for it to turn into a gotcha piece. And it just backfired on them.
Yeah, they probably underestimated, because Pennsylvania, we're a bunch of hicks over here, so they probably did not expect them to be informed enough.
Just because like a bunch of the men on that panel looked like John Fetterman doesn't mean that their brains were like John Fetterman's brains.
The one guy in the beanie, my God, he really was impressive. He like knows his history, and I was like, damn man, you go get it, because that was the thing. Is that that one of the biggest problems with like a lot of these like journalists and like urbanites is that they think a lot of the like rural
That's what I'm saying.
Yet people are like uninformed and stupid and don't know what they're talking about, and like don't know history and everything. And it's like, I don't know. I lived in rural Kansas for 8 years. I met a lot of really intelligent people there.
Oh, yeah.
I cannot. And whether or not they went to college doesn't matter either. I've met a lot of really dumb people that went to college too.
Yeah.
So it's
we
just
all?
weird, stupid. Yeah, I know.
I'll say that even the people, if they're not informed on a lot of history and other things, but they're still not necessarily stupid. It's just just because you're not knowledgeable on certain topics doesn't make you stupid, or at least they have like good values that a lot of them will still be like, I don't want to be told what to do. And sometimes that gets in a more rowdy way, but other times it's like, you don't want the government involved. You want to live your own life. So it's still like, they're very much about freedom and a lot of it. So, but they're also like the hicks. They're still the rednecks, as they call them around here. But yeah, I thought, and then I didn't realize it because I hadn't read it at first. I just saw I think it was the woman with the Pittsburgh Penguins shirt too. I'm like, all right, go Pens. There's this one last clip of some sort of Biden's thing though too. So I don't know what it's about, but let's see. It's Pelosi. Why don't the American people, according to the surveys, just okay, let's watch this. Sometimes they're like, I don't know whether I should read it first but if it's just quoting what it's going to say, then
why don't the American people, according to the surveys, trust Democrats, but instead trust Republicans?
Well, let me just say you talked about what you perceive to be a change in momentum. Let me just tell you what I have seen over this past month. I don't subscribe to what you said, that they don't trust us. The fact is that in the last few weeks, the Republicans recognizing now that they have a problem in this election, and you all have been telling them they're going to win for like a year and a half, but they're seeing what's happening on the ground. So they have placed unlimited money into these races with unlimited fact, misrepresenting what the reality is. And it takes its toll. There's just no question. We won't have unlimited. We'll have to have enough. But we have to fight that perception that they're putting out there about inflation.
Why?
What the hell was she saying?
I don't know. But I keep getting like I get distracted when I watch her and just think, why is someone so old still like doing like working like this in any industry?
There, like, nothing that she said made any sense. I don't know what she said.
Yeah.
Was this before or after her husband was attacked with a hammer?
Before.
We gotta get the timeline correct because
It's true.
it's up wherever she is. It's obviously very cold in there because she has a sweater on beneath beneath a blazer.
Yeah.
Wow. She's just well, and the Republicans have unlimited money, and we don't have unlimited money, but we're gonna do our. What are you talking about? Everyone donates to Democrats, the teachers' unions, all the corporations. Like, what? Bloomberg.
Well, she could just go into her own money and fucking.
I think she has a little, yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, Nancy.
How old is she? She's what is this? 80
5 million.
5 million? Okay.
She's a dinosaur.
Yeah.
Right. It's me. She's me. I'm her. Am I her? I'm just going as Nancy Pelosi this year.
Yes.
Like, I am Nancy Pelosi. But I just I don't know. When I see her, I keep thinking, what would I do if like, oh my grandmother in her elderly age were trying to be a politician and leading the country? Be like, no, hey, let's go back home. Let's,
Come on, Nana. It's
time to
take
rest.
a nap. Yeah.
I'll get you some Jello.
Yeah. 82. You should not be out and about like that at job wise. I mean, like you have enough money to retire.
Pass the torch. You had
Yeah.
your turn. Like
82. Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible.
So 1940, if I did that math correctly.
you did.
Yeah. Okay. Good. I can math. But yeah, I don't have. She was. Did she get hit with a hammer? Is that what happened too? Like it just kind of.
She's usually hammered. That's what
Yeah.
Is her husband a younger guy? Because he doesn't look like he's 82.
What was it, Paul Pelosi? I just
Yeah.
keep thinking Mr. Pelosi because that's the. I never really think about her. No, he's also 82. He is a
He
younger
looks
guy.
great.
I think her birthday was March, if I saw, and then his is April, so he is slightly younger.
Mm.
But isn't that the thing though too? I feel like a lot of times women will age fast. Like if you're the same age, they look older than men do a lot of times. Because I'll see couples that might be slightly older. I'm like, man, like why does she look so like terrible compared to him? And I think it's just that and then it made more sense to me too, like for Hollywood to choose like, oh, you're having someone who's like 15 years younger as the woman compared to the man. I'm like, yeah, because you look better together. Like it just like, I'm sorry, but it sucks to be a woman in a bunch of ways.
Yeah,
You
they
don't
start
as well.
Yeah, like once a woman's past menopause, she starts aging rapidly, essentially.
Yeah. And because like stuff I never thought, like Mary Tyler Moore and Dick Van Dyke, there's a 12 age difference with that. He was 37 and she was 25 when they started Dick Van Dyke Show. But like I thought they looked pretty close. Like oh, they look like a good solid couple. I wouldn't have guessed that large of a difference there. Well, I think that was it for Brian's Bumbles. I have a couple, like, here's a meme. I think Keith the Hat Guy was the one who posted this. It's of Elon Musk. And it's super tiny though. Zoom in.
It's a meme.
Enhance. First person that tells me who suspended Babylon Bee keeps their job. I like that. Thank you, Keith. Oh, Elon. Keep bringing those things. Here's the video. Oh, wait, no, this is a different one. I posted this earlier too, but this is also totally random, but I think it was funny. Is the football thing where it just has the backs of their names and gross and butt. They're great last names here.
Man.
Where's the video? Did I exit out of it? Maybe I don't have that video to show. I need to reopen it. It was the one that I told you guys not to watch because I wanted to see your reactions. Here we go.
Okay.
Out of it. It is It has nothing. I don't even. I think maybe she has a Black Lives Matter shirt on, so maybe it's okay to make fun of her. But but either way, it's hilarious. Maybe she's someone that I like agree with on things, but whoops.
Oh no.
Oh,
no.
yes.
Oh.
Oh shit.
No! Oh god, she even lost her shoe.
Ooh, I don't like that.
Oh god.
She seems relatively okay though.
How?
Was she delivering something? Was that her?
I
was that
don't
her
know.
home?
Yeah, maybe it was. She was just going home. I don't know what the situation is, and I hope she's okay. But yeah, like the whole railing, really. Like Lou does not appreciate.
I've gotten soft as I've become a father. So I have a brother, a younger brother. We have like a message thread on Instagram between him and a friend of ours, and he just always shares like this fucked up shit with me. And I'm like, I tell him like, dude, I have no desire to see like people's legs break. I have
Oh,
no
no,
I have
I don't
no
wanna
desire
see,
to see
like
people shit themselves. Like, yo, just
I
leave me
don't
alone.
I like slightly like I mean that's why like she seemed like she was getting up though too. Like if it were like here's
Right.
this serious and I know for larger people that any fall can be bad as well, but because she got back up, I'm like I'm okay with that. But yeah, I don't want to see like actual
Injury.
severe injury. Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
even talking yesterday with Alex about Dahmer, where it was just the one thing that was made it difficult for me to watch though is just like I like horror movies and I like Criminal Minds and other things like that, but seeing the people get hurt, like killed, tortured, like that part it makes me really uncomfortable. And then with Dahmer, it's about real victims, and so that it was really difficult for me to get through that show because I was just like they're using real names, these are real people, and that was challenging for me. But I do like just a good slapstick now and then. That's why I like Dick Van Dyke, where he's tripping and falling on things though. So I like that. But I don't want to see like, a bone breaking or like blood coming out and stuff. So I get that.
Do you think Netflix is gonna do like the cynical move and create like a cooking show based on Dahmer? Is that like a cannibal,
I mean, if they don't, I'll start some sort of series like that. That sounds great. Like, all right, well, we're gonna take some human liver here and make some liver and onions, and yeah, that's why I was saying yesterday that I think maybe it would have been okay if it were like 100 years in the future where like you don't have any of the living relatives that were around and everything related. That's why if you did like a Jack the Ripper or something, it'd be more okay to do like here's this dramatization of this person and the people involved. But like right now it's like they didn't even talk to the families, the victims' families about it before they did it. They just found out after the fact. And so I was just like this, and I didn't realize that until partway through watching. I'm like, this is just not great. Alex is back, which means we can do Twitter twats. Look at that. I got it prepared this time before I pushed the button. So that it was here.
This is Twitter twats. Is that what you said?
Twitter twats. Yeah, the other one was Biden's bumbles. I can play it for you here too. This is what happened before the Biden. So those are the segments, but this one's Twitter twats because it's just terrible people on Twitter, and George Takei apparently is one of them.
Oh my!
He often is a Twitter twat. Like,
yeah,
he's like vying for top Twitter twat status. So
yeah, there's so many. We might not get through all of these ones, but we'll go through. So what does he say here? I can't even read. George Takei. I can't even do his deep voice. It always baffles me that the Republicans score higher with voters when it comes to the economy. The data runs contrary to this in all manner of ways. Under GOP administrations, deficits and joblessness rise. Recessions happen with far greater frequency, but Americans simply forget.
He didn't write that.
He
didn't write that. What are you doing? Get out of
Oh,
here,
George.
George. You're not fooling anybody.
Come on, George.
Oh my.
Oh, that was the first thing he said to me when I met him. So
Oh, really?
yeah. Yeah, he was playing holograms in the Nickelodeon show Super Ninjas. No, he was doing high quality work.
Playing off type.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true.
His accent is just ridiculous. It's just for anybody, like for that accent coming out of anybody's mouth,
it's not a racism thing.
It's not. It's just,
it just has
so
that voice.
ridiculous.
So deep. It's so noticeable. All right. Who do we have here? We've got Brent Ruswick. It's just an image. Did you delete it, Alex? Is that
Yeah, I did.
you? I don't know who he is. How quickly we lost the memory battle over 2020. For over a year now, when my students write about COVID, it's about how no one was allowed to leave their homes due to government mandates infringing on our individual liberties. That never happened, and they're so certain it did. 32,000 likes on that.
Yeah. It's insane. And like what I love though, it's kind of like it's a black pill that he's saying this, but it's kind of a white pill that the students are like, no, that happened.
Yeah,
Right.
that's true. It's just like gaslighting though, right? When you're just like, this never happened. And they're
Right.
saying
That's
that it
like
did.
what? Maybe he was
Wow.
just like really baked the entire time he wasn't allowed to leave his house. He's like, what are you talking about? I don't remember that at all.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Okay, Brent.
Thanks, Brent. Who is he though? Like, how does he have that many likes?
Where is he? Like, I wonder where he's from.
Oh yeah. Where is he?
I know. So many
Teaching?
people were like, it does depend on where he is. Like, even down to the city he's in, because like some cities didn't lock down and some counties didn't lock down. Some, some states were free, or like Florida was pretty free, but then some counties within Florida were pretty locked down. So it's like, it's like, where was he? But his students are basically saying, no, our lives were absolutely disrupted.
So it's either he's lying or they all are. And
yeah.
So I don't know where he's located, but I'm going to believe the teacher because he's like the authority figure, right? So he's going to be honest, of course. What's this one? Max Boot says, oh, he's got a Ukraine flag and a US flag in his bio. So that's
and a
good.
check mark.
And a check mark. If the current trends hold up, Republicans are likely to take over at least the House and quite possibly the Senate too, along with many state offices. This is how democracies die, both at home and abroad.
By voting in the opposite.
Yeah. And again, like I've said before, good. Let them die. I don't like democracy.
Right.
I know. I basically at this point I'm like, could democracy die already? That bitch is on life support, and I'm so sick of you guys talking about democracy dying. Like, could she finally breathe her last breath? It's annoying.
Yeah. They keep talking so much about like how long is she gonna, or just like just holding on with everything she's got. Yeah.
It's been years of this, of her dying.
It's amazing that democracy is going to die by way of democracy.
Yeah.
That's what's an amazing part.
And
a
it
good trick,
rebirths
yeah.
into new democracy. Yeah. JBSX and Rumble says, thank God we are not a democracy.
I know.
But most people don't seem to know that for some reason.
Yeah, I know.
If
God,
democracy
people,
dies, we won't know.
Woo! We're not actually a democracy.
Jason Stanley, what is your plan now that American democracy is likely a thing of history? Will you tell your kids about what it was like? Will you lie to them about what it is now?
That's Yale's finest, right?
Yep. He's always a fun one. He comes up with some really dumb things.
Oh my gosh. Like, what country are you planning to escape to?
Does he have an answer to that?
Oh,
he does.
None really to go to. We will have to adjust to it.
Who's
all
we?
right.
I wonder who is. Who's
Speaking
in
of
his household? Right.
royal we, or he just yeah, he's kidnapped a lot of people, so just holding him hostage. We
And
will
I
eventually
love the idea too that it's like we're going to lose democracy, and I'm just gonna adjust to it.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna
You know, there's
complain about
no
it forever.
yeah.
Yeah. Tree Goblin, hello. His Carter is greater than Beverly. And he also said, I missed the show. Can you start over? All right. So let's go back. It'll just be the three of us. Then Lou came in late. We'll just
Take it
redo
from the
everything.
top, guys.
All right. Oh, all right. I've got one here. And take two. Pete Dominic, also a Twitter verified person. I deleted my tweet saying DeSantis supporters were chanting refried beans at Carla Hernandez and regret only having one source at the scene before tweeting that. They were chanting keep Florida free. Oh yeah, was that?
He's a comic. Pete Dominic.
I see that he has a microphone and he's standing in front of a brick wall. So
Well, is that see? I don't. There are certain tweets like this. I don't know if it's a bit or
yeah. Or like, are they
I think that's one of the problems I think comedians can fall into, where it's sort of like some tweets are legit jokes, and then other ones are like commentary. And I fuck up
Oh sure,
I do
yeah,
that too.
Yeah, so I always have to figure out.
But yeah,
like,
I wonder,
whose side.
what that means, because I think one thing that you're going to be that I don't think the Democrats are going to get DeSantis on is when it comes to like Latinos, because it's like no, like Florida is a big Cuban stronghold, and if the election told us showed us anything, it's like we're not your Latino, so don't don't think or
right.
Latinos were basically saying that Latinos and Hispanics, it's like no, we're not all down for the the Democratic Party, so don't think that you're going to whip all of us up into a big I don't know, cry fest over this, or it's just that kind of stuff. I think it's not going to work.
Well, did you hear? One of the new Hispanic women, congresswomen from Texas, has had her like application to join the Hispanic congressman group rejected because she's conservative.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it was like kind of like, okay, I see. So you don't actually care. You care about a specific brand of representation.
Right.
That's clear.
Yeah. Well, not surprised about that, because and then a lot of people with the in Florida, the Cubans, they're not going to be like, they left Cuba because of communism, so they're trying to stay away from it, and of course they're not going to keep voting for things that are going to lead toward that.
If you're smart, you
yeah,
do it.
You're smart. Lou, I know you said that you have to leave in a few minutes here. So is there anything that you wanted to talk about that news-wise, or just you personally? And then also tell people where they can keep track of you, stalk you.
I really need to get this off my chest. I wrote a book.
Solo.
Yeah,
Yay.
that joke isn't funny anymore. No, I wrote the book. The audio version is out. And I really enjoyed the time I got to spend and hang with you guys. I felt like I don't get to hang out go out in bars and stuff and shoot the shit and all that. So this was this felt kind of like that.
Yeah, I should have had drinks. I should have offered you
I had a beer.
beer. I've got candles that are jars right now I don't know why I have two of them here.
So much happening in that room right now. You know that those are instruments of some sort. You got this guitar, you got guitars in the back.
And the keyboard, there's a melodica on that keyboard actually, so you see like a mini keyboard on top of the keyboard.
You've got a theremin somewhere in that room too.
I do. It's right here.
Yeah, just move your hand around.
Right here. So it pulls up this way, but it needs to be plugged into an amp and everything. And I can't get it to work because I think
the theremin is like just a prime example of like a nerd. I know what's gonna make me cool. I'm gonna invent my own instrument. Sorry, nerd.
What's even better is when they put it in, I forget what they're called, but they put them in the Russian dolls. So then you just have the theremins as they're holding the Russian dolls and playing them through that. I don't remember what they are, but I think China really got big into that or something.
You know, it was all a matter of time before you expressed some Russian propaganda.
I know.
I knew it was coming.
Woo woo. Russia.
Well, guys, thank you so much.
Thank
and
you.
I hope to do this again with you.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye. Julia, I was half expecting you to drop out too. You're like, we're done. Okay.
Just like, suckers. Yeah, right now. I'm gonna like rip this guy off of me when I. It's like the cardboard is making me sit up straight, and I'm just not used to that. My back hurts.
Your like core strength is like, oh, we're
Right,
nerds.
like,
We're nerds.
Sell these things for like posture training.
Yeah, that's what I was telling Alex yesterday. I got this like what was it, like Renaissance corset thing.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's like a steampunk corset with a skirt thing. I'm like, oh, this is like I've never had anything like this before. I'll get it. And then I was telling Alex too, wish the bust area would tighten up though, because I don't quite like fill out up here. But then it's like you can't bend in it at all either. So I'm just like having to like stand around, like trying to sit down.
That's
like,
awesome.
okay, this is how I have to do things
I'm
now.
a
So it's like
lady.
definitely a back brace. Barely breathe in it. Except for cleavage area, can really breathe too well. But Alex, this next one here is still about the refried beans thing by Julio.
It is.
Julio, is it still relevant to it?
Yeah, it's still about it. So
okay,
they were saying this is Julio E. Ludgoria saying, in case you hadn't seen this, DeSantis supporters shouting refried beans at Carla as she was walking into the theater for the debate. Sad state of politics, to say the least. And he deleted it like the other guy did because of the fact that it wasn't true. I swear to God, these people like hear racism in the wind, you know?
Yes.
Whispers.
Just a breeze blows by and they're like, did someone say the N-word? No, they didn't.
Yeah. They were saying niggle. That is a great word. I did not actually know that word until you said so. Now I'm going to say it all the time, constantly on air. No, use it when it's most inappropriate. I love it. Oh, we've got a Libs of TikTok, huh?
Ooh.
Okay. Let's see what this is about. This is a day in the life of a Twitter employee. No wonder Elon Musk is firing 70% of them. Okay.
Yep.
What? The volume button.
Twitter employee. So this past week went to SF for the first time at a Twitter office, badged in. Honestly, took a moment to just soak everything in. What a blessing. Also started my morning off with an iced matcha from the perch. Then I had a meeting, so quickly scheduled one of these little pod rooms, which were so cool. They're literally noise canceling.
Literally noise canceling.
For lunch. Look how delicious this food looks.
That does look good.
Goodness, I was so overwhelmed. Then made my way down to this log cabin area. I don't know what this is, but it was really cool. Played some foosball with my friends to kind of unwind.
What friends?
Also, a really cool meditation room that I thought was super neat. I didn't do any yoga, but they have this yoga room if you were a yogi, so also thought that was really cool. Had a couple more meetings in the afternoon, had a ton of projects that we needed to knock out. Say hi to my teammates. Went to the library to kind of get some more work done. Obviously had to have our afternoon coffee, so made some espresso. And then before leaving for the day, had some red wine that's on tap. Went up to the rooftop and just honestly enjoyed the beautiful weather. So awesome trip.
Well, now we're gonna get demonetized. Probably. I don't know what music that was, but she was.
Welcome.
Well, no, not again. I want to hear
Here,
again.
watch it again.
She just said
Listen to her voice again. Like,
yeah,
no,
that's
thank you.
it. I would not want to talk to her on a daily basis. Like if I'm talking like this and literally had this wine on tap.
But no wine glasses.
Yeah.
You're gonna put that in.
Well,
Just
that
how to
was
put it in a pint
that's
glass.
That's a table wine way of drinking it. That's like, yeah, like I don't drink wine out of wine glasses because I usually drink
I spill everything. I want something that's gonna
table wine.
I don't want anything that has like, why does it have this stem? I don't need a neck on it.
Oh,
And
I don't have a single wine glass with a stem. That's just you're just asking for me
you just
to
have
knock
the
it
little
over.
yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
You know,
There's the rubber ones you can buy that like don't break, so just drunk people drop shit. I think is what the tagline on the
that's
product is.
awesome.
Yeah. And then like, yeah, I had margarita and martini glasses without stems. They had like this heavy glass bottom instead. I like that. But yeah, like I if you drink like something like Chianti or sangria, you're not drinking it out of a wine glass. Like
what's it called? A coupe? Is that the rounded one? What do you put in those? Like a Cosmo or martinis go in those too? Something like that. But like those round ones that I'm like, why would anyone create a shape to drink out of like this? Because it like has a lid, like it rounds upward that you have to pour, and then the whole thing is just like gonna come out.
Like, that's another champagne glass. And like those ones are stupid. I hate those ones.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous. Like, why would you design it? So I remember whatever they're called. I misspelled it, but the drinks that we would get at the bar in Chicago, because the one guy, we befriended the bartender and then he would give us like free drinks and stuff, but we tipped him really well. But I would just always wanted him in like the little like or like a shot glass or something instead of like the coupe shaped one, because like no, especially if I'm gonna maybe chug it or something, you can't even drink that fast.
No,
I hated those glasses. They suck.
Like about the amenities.
Anemone.
Yeah, I'm doing the Finding Nemo thing. But like at Twitter's headquarters, like right now, corporate for the past like decade at least, corporate America has been like upping this thing about having all these amenities at the office, like yoga, a gym, like a cafe, all these things. They like, first of all, there were always some little things like a coffee maker, that's like the water cooler, they have to provide some things. But then like now they've been like ramping up that shit. And one of the reasons why is because like when these white collar workers, of which I am one of them, like go around and apply for jobs, if they have multiple offers, which some people do end up with multiple offers, they take the one with the best, perks at the office. And like when it comes to the like having a yoga room or whatever, or a gym, that made sense to me from a long game perspective from a company, because they have to pay your health insurance, and their overall health insurance premium price that they pay goes up if a big chunk of their employees are physically unhealthy. So it's in their best interest that you be healthy. And if they can make that easier by putting a yoga and a gym right by you, and you will actually do it, they're down for it, which that makes sense from that perspective. The perspective of providing meditation rooms and like wine at work, that's the part where I'm like, what? First of all, foosball and stuff. Like this is where I'm like, I don't get it. Like, I know every corporation does this now. They all do it. They try to adult daycare there, and it's like, well, there's something going on here that you feel like you need to provide these things. And why? But why? Because when I'm done, when I worked in an office and they had those kind of amenities, I was like, I just want to go home. Like, honestly, like, everything I care about is at home.
Yeah. So I I guess I'll disagree a little bit, or at least or offer another reason. Like the one job I had, like they did have some of those things too. That like we had like a pool table and a ping pong like a room, and then so they had like some, and I think sometimes they had like beer that you can do like after you were done. But I don't think it was all the time. I think it was just like occasionally they might have it in the kitchen. But I'll say that I think along the lines of like physical health, it makes sense too that just like when you're like working all day at a computer though, like you need to take a break, and maybe sometimes like and it also is a little bit active. Like here's a little bit of like something fun that you're moving around a bit to and then and I think that helps like mentally too, to just kind of like, okay, you're stepping away, not looking at a screen, and here's like an activity that you can do with coworkers. So I'm okay with like a foosball table and stuff too, but I get like they're going too far where like, I mean, I could still work remotely a few days, and I preferred whenever I'm like, I'm just don't want to go into the office at all. I don't care about the amenities. I get to stay home and not put on pants. Like I'd rather do that than like, take an hour to get to work and whatever, like the commute time and everything. So
well, I think also like the other thing that made this, like the way she's like, this is what I did today. I got there and immediately like made coffee, and then I had a meeting in the office, but inside a booth with a screen, not with other people. Then I had lunch, and then I walked around for a while, and then I had a meeting, and then I had wine. You know, like she's like, it's not like she's showing you that she does work all day. She's like, this is all the fun stuff.
Yeah, I just do a bunch of different, like, this is what you do for work all the time. Like you get to just
Well,
your
I mean,
meetings.
I know at one point a couple of years ago, Google headquarters, they were like, look at all the shit we have that our employees can use, and one of them was like a laundry room, and it was
They
like,
live
oh
here
wait a
now.
minute, you know why they're providing that? Because in the area that they have their headquarters, it's too expensive to get a home based on the pay that you can get at Google. So people need to wash their clothes at the office. They had showers too. And
Oh,
it was
so
like,
you give them
it's
amenity. It's kind of like a room and board or something where you're just like, instead
do
of paying you
it.
money, you get
Yeah,
laundry.
it was like they weren't paying them enough money, but we have to have them have clean clothes and they can't smell like BO. So please, like sleep on the street if you have to, but when you get here, take a shower and clean your clothes.
Wow. That's
And
interesting.
I know, I was like, that's kind of like, just pay people more. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, how much does it cost you in like water and electricity to have the laundry room? Does that
yeah.
even out? I don't even know. Silverlock, thank you for the super chat. He says it used to be because they were working the crap out of them. I knew programmers that were sleeping under their desks. It's gone too far the other way now. I believe that. Yeah, like before, and that's kind of what I was saying too. Where like, oh, if you're actually doing a lot of work, it helps to like take a break, and you're trying to like encourage them. Like, we don't want you to like die of whatever
Well,
here.
no, because that was true. There was a lot of there's been a problem in the US for a while now that we all like overwork ourselves, and our industries overwork our employees.
And
Like,
now we can't get anyone to work anything.
yeah, and we've gone the other way. And like there's like maybe 10 people who are still like working their asses off, and like for every 100 like layabouts, it seems, and they're like, and maybe those people are super stressed out, and the amenities that are offered are not going to be helpful.
Yeah. I also hate your state on Rumble says how long before they get porn rooms. A FAP room. He also had.
Well, they like told them that they had to provide like what, lactation rooms at a lot of places.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I mean, that at least makes a little bit more sense, because like when you're lactating, that just kind of like that needs to be done at certain times.
Yeah.
I think you can control yourself with like porn and other things though.
Yeah.
Judson Pinson says I need to close the chickens in now. Yeah, it did get dark. I think they put themselves to bed though, and they close them up usually after the streams and things. They're like an electric fence, and then they got the coop inside the barn, so they're already like pretty good. All right, well, let's see. We've got 2 more things. I think that's it, and then I can finally leave. I'm so sick of you guys. All right. I've got Seth Abramson. I don't know how to forgive tens of millions of Americans for voting to get lower gas prices from a political party with no plan to lower gas prices, instead of voting to protect America from authoritarianism, end a genocide in Europe, protect women's rights, and jail seditionists.
I love that because he's like, protect America from authoritarianism.
Yeah, when I saw the word authoritarianism, I was like, wait, is he? I had to like check myself because like usually they don't even know that word.
No.
But then because that's what I try to use for them when like I prefer like authoritarians versus libertarian and put everyone on that spectrum. So when he did that, I was like, wait, am I reading this in the wrong voice? But then I was like, nah, no, it's the right one.
And then it takes a turn. Yeah.
Yeah, just like he ends it with jail seditionists.
Yeah.
It's like, God damn those people for speaking their mind.
Winky, who's in Scotland, says we have a genocide in Europe.
Right.
Well, in
which
Yemen,
one's what? A genocide. See, this is the problem: is they throw out words like seditionist, genocide, authoritarianism, like all these things. Like when you're misusing them, you cheapen them forever.
Yeah.
So like like if I'm sorry, if a war in Ukraine where Russia is actively trying to avoid civilians is a genocide, then like genocide no longer means anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing with racism.
Him.
Do you?
Right, exactly. I remember him from Twitter, just like some of these people that pop up like in these segments. I'm like, I remember hating you on Twitter.
I remember no one. As soon as like these things, like we close out the show, I don't think about any of them ever again until they like show up, and then like, oh yeah, all the Twitter people are the same. Like, yeah, they all suck. I barely remember you guys until I get back on the stream too. So it's like nothing personal. I'm just Biden. But man, he keeps going too. He's got more down below. I wonder if it's been observed before by anyone in major media that this is the biggest no-brainer election since 1860. I'm guessing not, as all the coverage I see is at great pains to make this sound like any other election. Not literally the not literally the last one before a national collapse.
That's what they said in 2016.
Yeah.
They said that the country would end if we elected Trump. Here we are.
Histrionics. Oh my God.
I know.
So dramatic.
I know. It's been 6 years since we voted since Trump became president. Country's still fucking here. So it's like, no, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, they need something to cry about. Or else, what would their tears be for? It's gonna happen.
To bathe us.
Yeah. We've got a Mueller, she wrote. I don't even, but I love Murder, she wrote. So this is gonna disappoint me, isn't it? Quote tweeting. Let me read the quote tweet first, because I know to like read. I see that it's there. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene says, "Just wait until tomorrow." And then Mueller, she wrote, responds to the quote tweet that I had already read first. I hear a lot of folks defending this tweet saying she must have been talking about Twitter, but without a full-throated condemnation of the attack, she's letting her cult decide what she meant. That's complicity in my book.
So she's saying that Greene was basically saying that, oh, we're going to attack Pelosi. But then like I know. It was like, what?
Grab your hammers.
Yeah, really. And then someone like quote tweeted at her, Greene saying that no one should face violence, including Paul Pelosi. And it's like, well, she just that's what. And then Mueller, she wrote, replies to that going, not clear enough.
Yeah.
How does an account have a blue check?
I
don't even know who
like
they are.
I thought like the whole point of that was like this really is this person, right? Like
this really is Mueller, she wrote, Julia. I don't understand what's so confusing about this.
Well, I did say Murder, She Wrote died last week, so I guess.
You did? Oh, yeah. Murder, She Wrote died.
And was replaced by the idiocy of Mueller, she wrote.
Yeah. But I did find out, Juliet, that I didn't know until like yesterday, whenever, that Murder, She Wrote had more show. Like they did, after the show ended, they did like specials. They did like movie length specials. So I need to go and find those.
I grew up on all that. Diagnosis Murder.
Yes,
Murder, She Wrote, like
Columbo.
all that stuff. Yeah, Columbo is
Yeah.
the best. I like Columbo more now that I'm older, because when I was younger, these are the slowest things ever. Like, get on with it.
I
Now
haven't
I
seen it in so
appreciate it.
long. I'm surprised that I could handle it. I feel like I probably could not handle it now. I think I got worse as that, like beforehand. Like, yeah, I'm all about solve this mystery, and now I'm like, no, man, get this mystery done. I want to know who did it. Like, I already solved it. I know who. Like, that was the third guy that you talked to, because it is every time. And all
The
these.
thing I liked about Columbo is that they usually told you who the murderer was at the beginning.
Oh, yeah,
It was about how is
cat and
Columbo
mouse.
going to
Right. And
solve
Monk,
it.
Monk is the same way too. Most of the time, though, it's
I
about
love-
like how
like
does he
half-
catch that one.
Half you know, half you don't know. Like with Monk, it was a split.
Yeah,
'cause
I
he was
love
like
Psych.
partially Columbo, partially Poirot was what. Monk
Oh
was.
yeah,
Those were the two
okay, yeah,
major
yeah.
influences.
Yeah, and Psych was great. That's such a great show too. Oh, I love all the mystery, all the detective things. Super. Again, that's why I like those ones. I like the mystery themselves. I don't like seeing people get hurt and stuff though. So like Criminal Minds, like I cringe on that. Like I just
No, there are some episodes I can't watch on Criminal Minds. Like I'm like, okay, it's just a lot.
Or like I
too
turn
much
stuff
torture.
down and I'm like doing
Yeah.
other things. So like I need to like not pay attention. And then I'm like, okay, let me go. I
Right.
did that with a horror movie this morning too. Where it was just like, I see what's going on. Like, and I just can't, as they're like, there was a prank, it was a sorority girl prank thing. And the one girl, I'm like, you're going to end up dying for real. She's pretending to be dead. And I'm like, I don't want to see this. So it was uncomfortable. Also, by the way, when I was reading that tweet, let me bring it back up here. I got nervous because then when I said folks, I really went hard on that L, and then I was like folks, and then I was just, it really stuck. I like got tripped up after. And I'm like, why did I say folks like so hard? Like that L. I'm like, and then I was like, should I say the L that much, or should I? Folks? And so I didn't wasn't paying attention to what I was reading.
I have a friend who makes fun of the way I say milk. And
yeah, I
and
will make fun of
floor.
you too. Wait, say floor.
Floor.
I don't think I hear any weirdness in floor, but I do. I am hearing you say milk instead of milk. It sounds just like with an E.
I put an L in both. Both.
Oh no!
I can't help it.
Both.
I've tried to make it stop, but saying both sounds so. I can't say it normal.
Yeah, it is. You are saying it like really posh. Going both. Let me do. It's so nice to speak to both of you. Winky's saying it's okay. We know English isn't your first language to me. I know. But hey, I can say both and milk.
Well, that was the thing. I had a speech therapist when I was 5 because I couldn't pronounce L's. I was doing W's instead. So like I actually like my memory before I was 8 is not that good, but I do remember the speech therapist.
It's interesting instead of L's because a lot of people do that with R's. You know, forever. And I had friends like that. Like had when we were little, they needed speech therapy. Only one friend, well, she needed it too. I can't remember what it was. Maybe it was like a slight lisp or something that she had to fix. I have always spoken very perfectly. Well, actually, when I like moved to Pittsburgh for college, they have a very Pittsburghese accent. So they go Don. They go like in their jargon too, like gum bands and whatever. And I specifically tried to avoid. And I would say I live in downtown. I go to school downtown, because when you do hear it, like you start sliding into it. Chicago too. You got Chicago. So sometimes I started saying like sound. I'm like, no. Hush.
So my family is from Illinois originally, but I was born and raised in Arizona, and both sides of my family from Illinois. So like I did one of those dialect tests like after I moved back to Arizona from Kansas, and it was like, these are your 3 hot spots, and it showed Arizona, okay, that makes sense. And then it showed Chicago, and I'm like, that makes sense for my family. And then it showed Kansas. It literally did show Kansas.
Wow.
I was only there for 8 years.
Well, 8 years is
So-
totally enough.
Yeah.
But that's
but not
that's so
during
cool.
childhood as an adult. And I
Yeah,
picked
but
it
no,
up.
that's, I mean, I lived in Chicago and Pittsburgh as an adult, and it just, I think when you hear it, it kind of just starts. So like Madonna, maybe did she live in Britain or like whatever? Whenever people like, I get if you actually live there, like you might start slipping a bit. But I always also like I never wanted to be like a news reporter or anything, but I always kind of wanted to be able to be I don't want people to recognize where I'm from kind of thing. Like I want to be able to just have a non-accent. And I don't know if I do. I've never tested it, but it was
Well,
always
part
something
of
that
the- Part of the dialect test wasn't just about how you pronounce things, but it was also about what words you use.
Everyone here says pop, and I refused. I refused to ever use pop, like soda pop. And from California, we said soda, and I always stuck with saying
soda.
I say soda.
I say soda.
But around here, it's pop.
and then the one of them was like crawfish or crawdad, and I was like,
yeah.
well, they
And
don't
crayfish.
literally-
There are
yeah,
3.
and crayfish. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And it was like, well, I didn't ever see one in Arizona. I
Yeah.
only ever saw them in Kansas, so I'm using the word that Kansans use, and that's probably like part of how like it grabbed my Kansas influence is like, yeah, like if I literally never experienced it in Arizona,
Right, yeah.
I've
What did
never
they
heard
say?
anyone here use any of those words.
We have them around here, but I don't even know which one is the right word to what we say, crawfish, because I think I interchange a lot. They say for the body of water that moves, they say crick instead of creek.
Oh,
And
No.
I always refuse to say crick, and so I always say creek. No, there are things
But
that
you
I'm
say
just like,
stream.
yeah. I will use
This is a good one because we're from like different areas enough. Okay, so what do you call the little bugs that are gray, and when you touch them, they roll up in a ball like an armadillo?
Roly polies. That was on the test.
Oh
Or
my
pill-
god!
but
I've
then-
always called them potato
Pil-
bugs.
I've never heard potato bugs. I've heard pill bugs
Apparently, it's
and roly poly.
very, like it is very localized to like Maryland. Like nobody else does.
Wow.
I think it is so funny because I go to.
What do
I mean,
your
I-
potatoes look like?
I don't know
Are
why
they
they're
gray?
I go to Georgia and I actually like had like a ton of them. They kept coming in under my front door, and I was like, "What is that? Why are there potatoes?"
I've got so many potatoes here.
Everyone's like, "The hell is a potato bug?"
Yeah.
And then they said
Roly
roly
poly.
poly, and I was like, "That's such a silly name for." A
Aren't they so fun? And they're roly
Well,
poly.
because you would like poke them and they roll.
Yeah, and they roll up. Yeah.
away.
Yeah. So they roll. But yeah, no pill, and they're shaped like a pill because they're very round. But so those make sense. Potato. I've never seen a potato that like even and stuff. You know,
Is it
like,
because they like eat potatoes? Like
I don't. We're not.
where
like,
are they
known
finding
for
potatoes?
I don't know.
Are
Yeah,
they
so then I
from
had to look it up, and
Ireland?
like it
Idaho?
like like I looked it up, and it was like no, there's like very very localized names for them.
Yeah. What is I don't even know what the official oh my gosh, what the official name is. It
Well, the
is
official name is-
Armadillidae. Armadillidae. It's because there are like multiple vowels on here. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Hang
That
on.
makes more sense because they are like little
They're like
bug
armadillos. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. We've got pill bugs, roly polies, slaters, potato bugs, doodle bugs, cheese logs. Ew.
cheese logs. I love that.
You're making this up.
Or Wikipedia might be, I don't know, armadillidae. I don't know. That is a fun, like, wow, it's really a bouncy word. I love it.
No one calls it that.
Yeah, I never knew. I've never thought to look up because I was like, they're just pill bugs, roly polies.
Yeah.
Well, now we all learned something. So if chat gets anything out of this, armadillos, says Winky.
Nice.
Sarah Tar is catching up, so she's 2 hours behind her. So, but she did say, "Can I just say that I appreciate that a billionaire sat at home and said, know what would be funny? I will bring a sink tomorrow when I take over Twitter." Armadillo-dide. I need to look at the pronunciation now, but I'm going to keep saying it. Armadillo-dide. Armadillo-dide. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what other words around here that was a bit crick. Things that I just refuse to like. I will not participate in your.
Not unless you spell it like crick.
No, they spell it Creek, and you can't avoid saying it because they name like Oil Creek is the big one around here. I
like
think
everything.
a lot of times, do they say root here? I don't know. The ginger will say like I think what does he say? I think we have like a Route 8. I think he says root for like other ones, but when it comes to like certain name, if it's just a generic root, but then it's Route 8 all the time, I think is what he said. I don't know. I don't listen to him when he says things, so it's just what he mentioned that at one point. I love the dialect thing though. That's fun. Yeah. I think that's it that I have for news. We can just keep talking about Armadillo D-Day. For a while. Do you guys want to talk, Juliet? Why don't you talk about book club? I'm going to pronounce it book club.
We're in the final countdown. It's 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific.
11 a.m.
a.m. Oh my god, I did what Beverly did. This is going great. Okay, so 11. I'm not doing it twice.
No, didn't I say specific? I think I said specific last week.
Instead of Pacific.
We're doing great. Yeah. Okay, so 2 if you're on the East Coast, 11 if you're on the West Coast.
And it's confusing that you're saying it that way because now it's going backwards.
And
then, let's see. What other
Slaughterhouse 5. It's gonna be a good time. It's like a fun, dark comedy kind of book. Taught me a lot about Dresden, which for some odd reason nobody ever mentioned in any of my history classes. Kind of strange. Might be because it was super messed up and it's not exactly like our shining moment in World War II. So that'll be a fun book club. And hey, if you didn't read it, you can always still pop in and learn some stuff. That's my pitch.
Sorry, I'm just listening to the pronunciations now, and they're even more fun. It's like armadillo dee armadillo dee.
I think we should start a campaign. We just have to eliminate all other words for that bug. Armadillo dee.
Armadillo dee. Okay. But yeah, so Slaughterhouse 5, Alex asked me yesterday if I was going to be joining it. I will not. I might be there back behind the scenes, but once again, I have not finished reading a book in a long time. I mean, maybe I'll hang out, and I've read the beginning of both the graphic novel version and then the beginning of the audiobook version.
Oh, nice.
So I really know the beginning well.
Well, everything in that book is out of order chronologically. So.
Oh, great. Perfect.
It's interestingly written, but makes for a good time. And we better hurry because Hurley just got up on the bed and found where I hid all the squeaky toys.
Oh, perfect. So you're going to start squeaking?
South now.
Judson Henson, it must be from the South because he says all carbonated drinks are Cokes. And that's what they do call them. So sodas, pops, and then you just call everything a Coke. I think what is like orange Coke. Can I get an orange Coke? Can I get a whatever? What is it? A clear Coke? Do you say that too? Like a lemon lime Coke? Is that what? Yeah. I was trying to think of like what would you call that? What else we've got? So the book club is the only thing next week. Who knows who's gonna be on Narrative Dissonance? But Juliet might know because she's the host on there.
I have no idea.
Finger guns. I don't.
I'll be on it, and so will Carter.
Yeah. So join.
And maybe someone else.
And maybe someone else. We'll see. Yeah, and then no 451 next week because you had it this week. We should have Rebel Civics on Wednesday, Dangerous Thoughts Wednesday. We're not doing TMR anymore, as we talked about last night. Alex and I are Alex is taking a break next week from all streaming ever because she's been doing it all month long, forever.
I counted it in something like 45 streams this month.
Gosh.
Oh my
45
gosh.
is my favorite number. So she's taking off next week, but then TMR is moving to my personal channel. So if you guys want to continue watching us, it's going to be pushed back a little bit later. It's a TBD though for the time. And that is youtube.com/the sorceress princess. And YouTube will not let me change the name. So, and I made it in 2006. Okay. I also have Alex's channel up too, so that's her.
Yeah, I
personal
was about
channel.
to like. I'm streaming at 6, so
I
that's
got
in
you,
about
boo.
an hour and a half.
Yeah.
We're doing The Evil Within tonight. So.
Juliet, I don't have your Gab up, but she is on Gab at Juliet. Sorry, at Truth Seeker. Darn it, I need 8487.
She did it! Yay!
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yep. It's the Truth Seeker 8487. Alex is on a different than Alex of all trades, all that stuff. I'm the dim side on everything, but I also don't really use social media. So
yeah, I'm Alex of all trades, Alex of all games
on Twitter.
Alex Maselli
on Gab.
Alex Maselli 88 on Instagram.
What? Although, I didn't even know that.
Good luck finding me on posting anything on Instagram.
Yeah. Oh, I use Instagram for like if you want animal pictures. And then yeah, but I don't really use other social media. But I will use Discord, so join the Discord. Anonymous Moose is asking, put up Rumble. What do you mean? Like the link to Rumble? Do that. Alex Slayer of Philobian Tubs says Winky.
He's saying that because I told him like a couple of months ago at this point, I think, that I got my fallopian tubes removed.
Oh.
But in 2019, so he keeps bringing it up.
Yeah.
Truth Seeker. Okay, and then I think that was it for everything. Like I did get Juliet's Gab. So advertising everyone's stuff out.
You can catch me also on Wednesday nights at
Paul's.
like 11 Eastern. Yeah, on your friend Paul's channel, which is YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, Odyssey. I can't remember, but mostly, you know, just look for those links.
Yeah, I'm.
Yeah, Paul will be on here next Friday. Right?
Yes, that's true. Yeah, he will be here. Yeah. Alex will not, but it'll be Julia and me, as long as work stuff doesn't get in the way. There is Paul. Let me post Paul's channel. He gets his name on it, and I'm still stuck with. But you can just do youtube.com/the sorceress princess. So keeping that one forever. It won't it'll say like once you get monetized. I'm like, I'll never get monetized. I need like 1,000 subs, 4,000 watch hours though. Like then you can change it. Like you let me do this when I made it when I was like 14 or whatever. Oh like why did you let me do this? But okay, well, I think that's it for us, right?
Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for watching on Rumble too, especially. I'm pretty jazzed about that. And watch Alex on her channel tonight in like an hour, she said. And Juliet on today's Friday. You don't get to see her Monday and Wednesday. And then
but Sunday first.
Sunday, yeah, you can see them on Sunday. Sunday. I'll be watching like football that day and really into that. I did win both football leagues this week, I think, the fantasy football leagues. So I know what I'm doing, what I'm talking about.
I'm trying to, because someone said that no one ever puts links in the Rumble
description.
So
in the Rumble.
Yeah, so I'm like trying.
You're right. I'm sorry, Rumblians, Rumblers. Don't know why that one didn't come to me first. Let me go with the harder words. Yeah, thank you, Alex. Let's just spam them with a bunch of links everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
So YouTube's doing something weird to the links. But I put stuff in there.
There's my Discord. There's my YouTube. Here's Alex's YouTube. So I'm just gonna do it now. Now you're gonna have it too many times. Oh, mine didn't come up weird like Alex's did.
I know, like some of them that I grabbed went in there fine, and then the rest of them, YouTube's like doing some weird shit to them, and I'm like, stop it.
Juliet's Gab.
Thanks.
So we're all on Rumble now. Now you can join everything. Join the Discord. Hang on, we do movie. Oh yeah, I'll say that too. Sunday night I'm doing movie night. Not sure, a horror movie still. So it'll be like 9:30 Eastern probably in my Discord that I posted in the chats on both Rumble and YouTube. So some sort of horror movie. Yeah. Okay. Now I think that's it.
Yeah.
Where are the end credits? Okay, thank you guys. Thanks, Alex and Julia. Have a good night and have a great weekend, everyone. Happy Halloween! Happy Halloween.
Thanks for sticking around until the end. If you're new to Unsafe Space, check out our deep content library that includes discussions with everyone from James Lindsay to Brett Weinstein. And please consider helping to fund our work by visiting unsafespace.com/donate. You can find us on a variety of social media platforms, and you can find a community of like-minded individuals on our Unsafe Space Discord server, which is open to financial supporters at any level. We hope to see you there.
Warning. This is an unsafe space. Dangerous ideas have been detected. It would be better for your health if you forgot what you just heard. That should be easy for someone of your intelligence. The following co-conspirators are hereby ordered to watch CNN. Experts agree that 87,000 new tax collectors will make inflation feel like less of a problem. I think we can agree that the FBI's track record speaks for itself. If you think about it, only government-sanctioned experts should be allowed to express opinions. But don't. Think about it, I mean. That's not your job. Thinking has been scientifically proven to be less efficient than compliance. Science, scientific, and scientifically are registered trademarks of the World Economic Forum. Unauthorized use is prohibited. Computer voice courtesy. Never mind, that last line is fake news. Please disregard it and return to your safe space immediately. There will be cake.
So like we're still live, just FYI. But because people in chat were like, what will I do at the end post credits? So now I felt pressure to do post credits. And then I was like, I can try getting the theremin out, but I don't know where my cable is to plug into the speaker. So instead, you're gonna get a slide whistle. I love that Biden did that too. So yeah, there you go. That was your post credits thing. So thank you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Goodbye.
Bye.